Hi guys. This video is just going to be just a video about the differences between raising like a baby and then like a toddler. So it's gonna be like babies versus toddlers, and the different difficulties and pros and cons and all of that. So as you are well aware, Layla is definitely a toddler now. She's two. She's like 2 and 3 months. Like, she's definitely a toddler now. And with her becoming a toddler, it's different. She became easier in some aspects, but harder in other aspects. Um, so as a baby, like the hard parts of her being a baby were just the constant waking up several times a night, and when I was breastfeeding definitely like a challenge. Feeding her every couple hours. Her being a little baby, it's just very demanding. Like she doesn't do much. Like little babies don't do much besides like sleep, poop, and eat. But it's just like it's very demanding. Like I need to, especially when I was breastfeeding, needed to be there like all the time because she fed every 2 hours or so. So I had to be around her constantly, and it was always like 2 to 4 hours of sleep, and then she's up, and it's something. I gotta do something. It's all throughout the night, waking up several times a night, like very lack of sleep, and I still get lack of sleep. But it's just like different, kind of, like lack of sleep then waking up every couple hours to feed her and all of this stuff. And it's also more, at least as a new parent with a newborn, everything freaks you out. Like I used to freak out, like, is she still breathing? Is she still, like, what's going on? Oh my gosh, blah blah blah. She's been sleeping for this long. Should I wake her up? This and that. Like, is this okay? Is that okay? Like freaking out about everything, constantly stressing. She used to sleep in a bassinet right next to my bed. I would I almost never really slept because she was just right there, and I'm constantly listening and waiting for her and all of that jazz. And it's just very demanding, like she doesn't do much. There's not much raising per se that you have to do. It's just taking care of her needs. Like, I'm not raising her quite yet, but like per se, like raising them into a person, teaching them stuff. I'm taking care of her needs and doing that. And it was very demanding and exhausting, and making sure she got enough tummy time and is playing with toys and just watching all her developmental stuff, feeding her milk, and then as she got older, making sure to feed her the right foods, and just all kinds of research and stuff I had to do just on like what's healthier and what's best for her. And when they're that little, you're the main, when I say you're, I mean like mothers. So like me, like by far the main, like I couldn't pass her off for more than like 2 to 3 hours, especially when I was like breastfeeding. So those are definitely like the challenges for that. The easy part of it is that they are just baby, and they do just do lots of sleeping. They don't do much, and they stay in one spot. They can't move around yet. So I could lay her down in her bassinet, and she would stay there, and I could go do this or that, or lay her down in her bassinet while she sleeps and run and take a shower and then come out and whatever, put her in her swing, and she doesn't move. She doesn't go anywhere. Lay her on the floor. She stays in one spot. I can lay her on the floor on her, with some toys, and go in the other room and not worry about it. And then as she grows older into crawling and rolling and all of that, then you got to worry about what she's going to get herself into. I remember specifically one time I laid her down. She had this toy that I lay her down on a blanket and it hovers over her, and it has stuff she can hit, and when she hits it, it makes noise and it lights up, and she loved it. So I laid her down, and then I went in the other room to like clear out some stuff or clean up some or something. I don't remember. It was a while ago. And I came back, and she's just like off the blanket and like halfway across the room, and I was like, ah, like what? Like what do I do now? Like she's starting to move, and then she crawls, and she can get into stuff. But I mean, even then, it's small. It's like small crawling, and like she's still fairly easy, even as you start to feel her like more food, blah blah blah. Some of the other difficulties though is that when they are little babies and you've tried everything, feeding, changing, burping, rocking, and they're still fussy, they can't tell you what's wrong. They're just crying and crying and crying, and you don't know why. Like maybe it's their teeth, like, but you don't know for sure. There's nothing you can really do to help. They just cry and they cry and they cry. And then it makes you want to cry because you're like, oh my god, my poor baby, and I'm a useless mother because I can't do anything to help. Like, what do I do? Like, I don't know. I can't even tell you how many times I spent just sitting in a room in a rocking chair, like, for like 3 hours rocking her, like, while she cried, or I would rock her and she'd fall asleep and I'd lay her down and she'd start crying and I'd just be like, like, I don't know what to do. I want to sleep. And all of that is just very, very demanding, very, very, and I'm not saying that motherhood gets less demanding, like as they get older. It's just in a different way. So yeah, that's kind of the basics for babies. Hard, like, they're hard in that way, and then they're easy kind of in the way that you don't have to watch them quite as closely because you don't have to worry about them running around and all that jazz. But yeah, so now I'll move on to toddlers and how it's changed. So as she got older and learned to walk and run, she was all over the place, getting into everything, like everything. Like I couldn't take my eyes off her for like 10 minutes. Like, who knows what she was going to get herself into, like, or tear down. She becomes like a little tornado. Like, she just, like, I'll show you when I do my house tour, but like, by our TV, I just have all these DVDs stacked up. And this is in our old house, so this is when she's like 1. She doesn't do it as much anymore. But when she was like 1, she'd literally just go over and pull all the DVDs out and just walk away and leave them. And go to her toy box, pull everything out, and just walk away and leave them. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And you're constantly having to watch her. Like, I would look away for a couple minutes, and it'd just be like silent. And I'd be like, uh-oh. And I'd go in the other room, and she's like pulling all the baby wipes out of the thing, or spraying powder everywhere. Or one morning I was sleeping and she woke up in her crib and I heard her wake up and be like awake. I heard her wake up and like just kind of like making her little baby noises, blah blah blah. And so I went in to go get her, and she was finger painting with her poop on the wall. And I'm like, Layla, like, no. Oh, man. And then it's just insane. Like, they don't sleep as much anymore. So, like, when she was a baby, especially when, like, she was a little baby and I wasn't working and stuff, when she slept, I was like, all right, I'm taking a nap too. But now, like, she still takes naps, but she doesn't sleep as much. Like, anyone who has a newborn knows that they wake up, poop, eat, sleep. Wake up, poop, eat, sleep. Or wake up, eat, sleep, poop in their sleep. Like, all of that stuff. So, sorry, there's a fly flying around. But anyway, so, like, she's up a lot more, way more active, running around, getting into everything, anything and everything. They start to test your boundaries a little bit more. They want to see what they can get away with, per se. So, like, even though she knows she's not necessarily supposed to do it, they will, like, test that and stuff. And then now that she's 2, this is when it's getting rough. Because this girl, let me tell you, I have one sassy little girl. And she, pro is that she can communicate with me now. So when she's fussy and upset, she can say something like, my teeth hurt, like my teeth hurt. And I know, okay, she's getting like her 2-year molars, which is currently happening. Or she'll say like, my butt hurt, like my butt hurt, because she'll have like a diaper rash. And she can communicate these things with me. Or like, I want nummies, I hungry, like nummies, eat. And I'm like, okay, so you're hungry. Or water, or juice, I'm like thirsty, or something like that. Anything like that. Or she'll even tell me when she wants to go night-night. She'll go, night-night. It's time for night-night. And I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go night-night then. Like, she can communicate, she can tell me what's wrong with her. Just, she's a little, the terrible twos, man. She's a little terrorist, and she thinks it's really fun to test mommy and to press mommy's buttons. And she doesn't like to listen because she likes to do whatever she wants. She likes to talk back. She has now decided that, okay, so she'd be doing something driving me insane. And, like, she'd just be, she's driving me insane with something, anything. And especially when I, like, lived with my parents or I'm around my parents. And I'll be like, Layla, what, like, why are you doing this? Stop, like, what are you doing? And, my dad would go, oh, 'cause she's 2. Be like, huh, 'cause you're 2. Like, that's what 2-year-olds do, blah, blah, blah. And so now she thinks it's cute whenever I scold her or anything. She goes, Layla's 2. Like, Layla's 2. Like, this gets me out of trouble because I'm a 2-year-old and I'm doing what 2-year-olds do. And I know that also her daycare, like, teacher will be like, oh, you 2-year-olds, like, blah, blah, blah. But she's like, Layla 2. Layla's 2. Layla does, like, and I'm like, no, that's not how that works. Like, one specific example. Yesterday, we drove to my parents' house because we had to get or it was Sunday, sorry. I had to go get something for my dad to get some stuff out of my storage. And she took her shoes off in the car, and she's not supposed to do that. And I said, Layla, don't take your shoes off in the car. You're not allowed to take your shoes off in the car. Like, quit doing that. I don't want to see you do that again. And she goes, Layla's 2. And I'm like, I know you're 2, and that's not an excuse. And she goes, Layla 2. And I'm like, that's not getting you out of trouble. The more you say that, you're going to get more trouble. Like, when she goes, but Layla's 2. And I'm like, you say that one more time, and I'm turning around, and I'm taking you home, and you're not going to see Mimi and Papa. Like, that's your punishment. You're not seeing Mimi and Papa. And she stopped, but that's her little sassiness. And just all kinds of stuff. She's harder now because she's just a toddler. She's a crazy toddler. She gets into everything. She wants to talk back to me. She's like literally like a little teenager. And she's sassy, and like she's not quite as demanding because she's a lot more independent now, especially Layla. She is a very independent girl. She's fine with just going off and doing some things on her own or whatever, and she's like, I don't know, she's very independent, so she's not quite as demanding. I mean, obviously I still have to feed her and change her and all that stuff, but she, like, it's not quite as, like, every 2 hours on the boob, gotta, like, with a newborn, it's almost hard to go out in public because I'm like, I don't know, it's just very different in different ways. I wouldn't necessarily say one is harder than the other. They're just very different in their difficulties. One thing that was harder when they're a child is easier now that they're a toddler, but it like flip-flops, you know? Like, I don't have to wake up several times a night. Layla sleeps through the night, but I still don't get any sleep because I'm a college student. I'm a full-time college student, and when I get most of my schoolwork done is after she goes to bed, which she goes to bed at 8, which leaves me usually up until at least midnight, and she's up at 7. And even if I went to bed at like 8, I'm gonna be tired when I wake up at 7. Like, it's rough. Especially she wakes up with crazy energy. Like, mommy, woo, play. And I'm like, like she comes into her room and jumps on us, and I'm like, night. Can we watch? We have a TV in Sean and I's room, so like put on Thomas the Train or Mickey Mouse, and she'll lay there quietly for like 20 to 30 minutes, and I can like lay there and cuddle her for like a little bit as I wake up. Like, I don't go back to sleep, but it gives me time to just like lay there until she's like, okay, nummies, let's go, and then gets out of bed and is like, bye, let's go get it. But I definitely am gonna start like just filming her more, because she's hilarious and she is quite the personality. And you guys should definitely see some of it. But this is getting kind of long, so I hope that is just kind of a good little summary of babies versus toddlers. They are both difficult. Parenting does not. Oh, one other thing I was going to mention. Now that she's older, it's another difficult thing is actually raising her into becoming the person that she needs to be, and becoming a, like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Just like a good person in society, someone that can contribute to society and has manners. And you got to teach her manners and what's right and wrong. And she also hears and listens, and it, like, she hears everything, and so you have to be more careful about what you're saying. Like, I don't talk about like more adult issues when she's around, because I know she's listening, because I've heard her repeat, like, not necessarily like bad things that I talk about, but I just know that she, like, I'll talk about something and she'll repeat it and she'll say stuff and all of that crazy stuff. But like, just molding her into the person she's going to be is definitely hard, because I'm a first time parent and I'm terrified. Like, I don't want to mess her up. But I can just do the best that I can do. And I mean, so far I think I'm doing a good job. So that's a kudos. But I hope that's a good summary of just kind of babies versus toddlers and my experience with it. So yeah, go ahead and comment if you have any questions. If you have video suggestions, I have a whole list that I want to do and make that I'll get up as soon as possible. But yeah, I think that's all. And follow me in the links below. I post on Instagram a lot and I tweet a lot if you want to keep up more personally and all of that. Also, my Jamberry nail website is there if you're interested, and yeah, all that jazz. So thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.